Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome to Magia Record, the Madoka Magica side story. I think the title is something like that. Madoka Magica Gaiden, Magia Record, Quella Magi Madoka Magica side story. There has been like multiple titles of this series that I've heard. The most common, I think, is Magia Record, so I'm gonna say Magia Record, although I'm not entirely sure if Magia Record wasn't the gacha game of Madoka Magica, so correct me, of course, wherever I'm wrong. Right, we have seen the Madoka Magica movie. It's up on YouTube already. If you're watching it on this episode on YouTube, the movie has been on YouTube for a week already. If you're watching it on Patreon, then the movie is already out. It went out today or yesterday, depending on when this video uploads and processes and stuff like that. But yeah, Madoka Magica, Magia Record, whatever you want to call it, the side story. I know pretty much nothing about it. For the longest time, I thought that this is the sequel to Madoka Magica, that they made Madoka Magica, it was a resounding success, to the point where they made a movie, they made a sequel, now they're making another movie, and so on. But apparently it is a side story, and the reception for it is mixed. Which is, again, pretty much the one and only thing I know about it. That it's a side story, and people are fairly divided on whether it's a good series or not. I think, I don't know that yet for obvious reasons, but I think some of that scorn might be because it's not Madoka Magica, right? People loved Madoka Magica. It was something big, something pretty much genre-defining at this point, seeing how many magical girl spoof shows we have around. And now suddenly a sidequel appeared, a spin-off, and it's not that. Maybe it's not as heavy, maybe it's not as well thought out, maybe it's not as well paced, I don't know, but it's not that. Problem is, very rarely can you actually get the same thing. It pretty much never happens. So this series was doomed to fail pretty much from the get-go, especially since I believe the cast is also different. We don't have our beloved characters of Madoka, Kyoko, Homura, and the others. It's a brand new cast of characters, a brand new story, brand new setup, brand new situations. So of course it will not be Madoka, and I think a lot of the a lot of the negative opinion is because of that. I don't know though. I don't know. As I said, I've never seen it, so maybe it actually deserves that opinion. Maybe it actually is a garbage show and I'm gonna drop it after 3 episodes. I have no clue. Might very well be the case. Although there is like 3 seasons of it. Well, 2 seasons really. First season is 13 episodes, second is 8 episodes, and the third one is 4 episodes. So essentially 2 seasons, 12, 13 episodes each. And they wouldn't have made more if it wasn't popular, I guess, maybe, unless they set it up from the very get-go that we will make this many episodes and we will make them come hell or high water, and then they split it up and well, people don't like it, but we have it made, so might as well just release it all. Again, I don't know. I don't even know if it's the same studio who makes it, probably, but maybe not, I'm not sure. Again, I know pretty much literally nothing about it, and I'm spinning in circles because I'm trying to say something about it, but I can't because I know nothing. So instead of that, I think we should just start watching it, right? Yeah, I made some tea, but it's not really cooling down because of the 28 degrees inside, so I have to make do with some ice water. Right, the version I got for this, if you want to get the exact same version that I did, it is Neo HEVC Magia Record Quella Magi Madoka Magica Side Story Season 1 3 BD 1080p X265 HEVC AAC Dual Audio Magia Record Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica Gaiden. It's the one with the most seeds on Nya. And to be more specific, Season 1 video and audio is from the US Blu-ray, and subtitles are by Yamete Tomete. Season 2 video and audio comes from Japanese Blu-ray, and subtitles by Yamete Tomete and Erairos. And third season also Japanese Blu-ray and subtitles by Erairos. All of that edited and cleaned up and stuff like that by Neoborn. At least that's what the user is on Nya. If those are good subs, great. If it's a bad version for whatever reason, let me know. I'm gonna look into using some different one. Perhaps, although there aren't that many releases, I fully expected like a Meguka release or something like that, but it seems not many people are subbing it, so maybe it doesn't matter ultimately. We'll see. And one last thing, since this is a non-seasonal series, as I already mentioned, episodes will be releasing on Patreon first for $10 tiers and up, and after a week of Patreon presence, they will be published up on YouTube every Monday, I think. Madoka Mondays? Is it Madoka? I don't know. I guess Madoka Mondays. I guess it is still Madoka. Maybe the main heroine in this show also has a name that starts with M. I don't know. I know nothing. I'm going in completely blind. But yeah, if you want to watch it early, head over to Patreon. It's linked somewhere in the description, and chances are episode 2 is already out, unless it needs time to process and upload and stuff like that. We know how YouTube is. And that's enough talking, that's enough babbling. We should just start watching. And to do that, you will of course need your subs down below to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you guys for your support on Patreon monetarily or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 1 of Magia Record Season 1 in 3, 2, 1, go! Magica Corte. Is there no sound? No, there is sound. Ah, familiar music. Very familiar music. Pink hair. A cat transporter backpack. Is the cat a witch? Or is she going to use her Mahou Shoujo powers for mundane purposes of finding a cat? And that's the witch world. That's a new track. A body stocking, that's a choice for a costume. Boxwood. A four-arm crossbow. Kinda reminiscent of Madoka's bow as far as a choice of weapon goes. Okay. Another magical girl. Dual wielding, like, magic staves. Save the cat. There we go. That cat doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Interesting choice of those, like, hooded cloaks. Those are very mundane wishes. Oh, Sudden Shadow. I was about to say that it's a very, like, upbeat and happy and classic, like, Mahou Shoujo beginning to the series. But of course, there has to be a little bit of darkness to it. Okay. Interesting. You share a room with a witch? Question mark? A wraith? A ghost? Or is it just a memory? It's just a memory, isn't it? Okay, that whole entire half of the room is completely wiped out. Something's fucky going on with reality. I'm almost tempted to say that something like, I wish my sister never existed. Is that it? Is that what we're dealing with? Said, like, in a spur of a moment, in anger, and like every wish, it was fulfilled. I love this aesthetic. I'm glad they didn't stray away from this, like, solar punk aesthetic. I fucking adore it. Like, holograms and translucent displays and greenery everywhere. I love it. My windowsill is a jungle for that very reason. I love it. That looks like a Colosseum. Is that like 60 FPS animation? Hello, Kyuubey. Oh, she forgot the wish? Okay. or comp- com- compartmentalization, or whatever it's called, where you like shut off a part of your memories if they're like too painful. She realized she fucked up massively by disappearing her sister and compartmentalized those memories. Also interesting that they were in the witch world and there was no fighting going on. Kind of reminiscent of the movie, where magical girls would also coexist for some part at least with the witches. She speaks really fast and she moves really fast. Apparently. Wait, everything seems like super sped up. I was afraid for a moment that I like increase the speed of increase the playback speed, but it seems like everybody's genuinely just speaking really fast. Well, almost everybody. Yeah, magical girling. Kuroe. Fellow Mahou Shoujo partners. Together we can do it. Okay. We have another member of our team, I assume. Yep. Seems to be the case. And the motive of the train again. Okay, so we are in like a pre-Madoka time. Kamihama City. The only good witch is a dead witch. Keep quiet. Everyone being who? Is Kamihama the city Madoka lives in? Was that Bebe? I know, the silhouette kinda... It's kinda reminiscent. Ah, And that's the problem, she doesn't know. Did you? Oh. Of course. I kept that water in a plastic pitcher with a filter, and now it tastes like plastic. I fucking hate it. To Kamihama. Exactly. Oh. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Everybody's been infected by witch zits or something? I don't know. Okay. The tea is at a drinkable temperature now. Earl Grey with vanilla. That's a nice track. It's the same witch. Because the witch world looks the same. Yeah, it seems to be the same one. I don't think that was a thing in the main series. A witch just reappearing. Once it was destroyed, and that's that. Labyrinth, that's a new concept as well. Is it like just one single place where witches live and it's called the Labyrinth? Or is it a post-Madoka world and we're fighting with wraiths, actually, but they are being cold witches? That's why multiple of them are similar or the same even, and they don't create individual witch worlds. Ah, now that's the mixed media I was waiting for. Zenobia. I was actually afraid for a hot minute that they're going to like do away with this heavy mixed media usage and it's just gonna be that one single like CG world. A friendly witch. Tetris block. Uh, a tiny Kyuubey. Kyuubey cub. Kabe. And she remembered her wish. Is that it? Why though? What triggered it? What prompted it? What's so special about this Kyuubey? We've never seen a juvenile. That's another interesting thing. Here's the blue one. We have the pink, we have the black, we have the blue. Now we're only missing yellow and red. And she's strong. just soloed that witch, that Iroha, the pink one, wasn't even able to scratch. And she goes to a different school because of a different uniform. And the Kyuubey vanished. Interesting. Well, they didn't really hunt them, they were just attacked. Okay, straight out with it. Interesting. So far they were in like a starting newbie zone, essentially. Yeah. Yeah, that's something really unusual. That is perhaps even more unusual, actually. Oh? How, for example? How can they be dealt with? That's a very good question. In a dream. Okay. And she steps back into the shadows. Man, we are really blazing through it, aren't we? It's kind of dangerous to walk on the tracks like that. Okay, it's magical girls heading for Kamihama. Kamihama sounds very similar to Kami-sama, God, the city of God. Is Hama perhaps some different honorific? And here it is again, a person with a glitchy face. Continue. Cure. Okay. So it isn't make my sister disappear. It is cure my sister. And I'm assuming her sister was in all of those photos. How does a wish to cure someone make that someone disappear? That's a good question. Is that a tiny Kyuubey running with her? Here's the yellow one, a green one, apparently. Two sides of the same person. A similar image was also in the main series, with like two Madokas merging into one. If I could, I would create the world anew. Well, haha, funny you mentioned that. Funny you mentioned that, huh? There we go. That was the episode. So, my very first... oh, maybe. Before we do that, let's switch to this scene. So, my very first impression of it... Madoka Light. Kinda. Like, the imagery, the pacing, the, like, presentation, everything is a little bit more, like, mainstream. A little bit easier to digest, right? That's my first impression. I don't dislike it. I don't dislike it, actually. Let me preemptively pull out my notebook. And let's maybe do it here. Magia Record. Okay. Train. The rumor about magical girls. You're turned into a magical girl and forced to slay witches, but in exchange you get your wish granted. Right. They capture humans and munch on them like candy. Bad witches, of course. Henshin. Basically Madoka-style henshin, with not much flair or anything, just a glow and snap. Wrist gem. Fairly dangerous location, far as a location for a gem can go. Body stalking, which is a very interesting choice. And a hooded cloak, which is something that all of the magical girls seem to have. Interesting detail. Crossbow. Like, you can certainly see the inspirations with the main show in it. Like, sure, it's a side story, right? But the main character is the pink one, again, uses a projectile-based weapon, again. So there is, like... and her partner, the one she's essentially paired with, is the black one, and fairly emotionally stunted. I was initially very disappointed, almost, because I thought that this is how it's going to look from now on. I was always, in the main series, I was always in awe of the use of mixed media when it comes to the world of witches. Right? You would have a photo of an apple, a cut out from some painting, some wires, a piece of mold, and an Arduino Uno, or, shit like that, everything mixed, cut into like paper puppets, moving very choppily. It had that otherworldly effect. This is much, much toned down. It's just some spaghetti in the background and the scaffolding flying around. I think something similar was in Monogatari even. So it's, again, not like not the mixed media I was used to. This is certainly much cheaper, much less impactful, much more normal, which is another way that I figured it's Madoka Light, kinda sorta. The design of the witch, supposedly we are led to believe this is a witch, also isn't really otherworldly, doesn't use mixed media or anything, but I think this isn't a witch, it's a wraith or a witch familiar or something witch adjacent. And here comes the black one using dual-wielded maces. The choice of weapons in this show certainly seems to be much more varied than in Madoka, right? In Madoka we had a gun, a spear, another gun, except this time like real, a bow, right? A sword, a rapier, rather. Here we have a wrist crossbow, we have dual maces. In the ending, someone had a hammer, someone had a shield, right? There's an interesting variety. And the witch was it slain? The cat was saved. Sure, question is, was the witch slain or did it escape? I don't think it was slain. She stopped charging her attack to save the cat. And then Kuroko sliced not the witch but the labyrinth. And they escaped. Which is another interesting difference. I don't think in the main show our magical girls ever escaped, ever run away from a witch. It's been a while, so I might be misremembering things, but I don't think they ever actually escaped. They would stay there and fight to the bitter end. I don't think escape was even possible, honestly. I'm not sure about that. And of course, fairly mundane wishes. I want to stay fit no matter how much I eat. I want to become a magical girl too, but she doesn't remember why. And here is her room with her sister, I assume. But that entire half of the room is no longer there. Even the rug is cut in half. But her wish was to cure her sister. How do we go from cure to disappear? Like, the wishes granted by Kyuubey never really were like fully, genie wishes. Kinda, sorta, they had unforeseen consequences in the end eventually, but it was never, I don't know, someone wished, I want to walk again, and the wish was granted by giving them the lower half body of a spider, or, you know, some other like twist to that wish. Rather, the ability to walk was given back to them, but because they were able to walk, they started running away, running around, and fell down the stairs and broke their neck, or, you know, something along those lines, more like. So it feels weird to me to believe, to think that a simple wish, please cure Ui, would make Ui disappear. If we assume Genie's wish, sure, okay, please cure Ui. What is the state where you are ailed by nothing? Well, the state of non-existence. If you don't exist, you cannot be sick, essentially, right? But again, the wishes never really were twisted, not to that degree for sure. Also, it seems weird to completely erase her from existence, right? Erase her half of the room, erase her from photos, erase her from memories. You'd think she'd be killed off, maybe, but not completely wiped out. One thing that comes to my mind, and it's a fairly big stretch, honestly, is that what ailed Ui wasn't physical, but rather mental. She had some mental issues, maybe depression or something, and the cure for that was somehow disappearance. Because her family grieving for her would make her even more depressed, because she made her family sad. So it would be best to just erase her completely so that nobody remembers her. Again, it's a stretch. It's a huge stretch, but it's the only thing I can possibly come up with at this point. Intriguing, for sure. And do I even note anything down? I wanted to note down that the wish was spoken in anger, make my sister disappear, or I wish my sister never existed. But we know it's not the case. Unless the sister is not Ui. She wished for someone else to be cured. But why would that cause Ui to disappear? Her sister to disappear. Unless the reason for that ailment was her sister's existence. Again, one and only thing that comes to mind is mental issues. Someone was depressed because her sister had some, I know, deformities or whatever, and the way to deal with that depression was, oh, if she was never born, then I wouldn't be in this state. I wish she never existed. And so Iroha went to Kyuubey and parroted that wish. I want Ui to be cured. The cure to whatever ailed Ui was the disappearance of Iroha's sister. It's a huge stretch, I think, but it's legit the only thing that comes to mind at this point. I'm gonna note it down, just in case. The cure to Ui's ailment was Iroha's sister's disappearance. How? Why? We'll see. maybe with time. Kamihama books, Kamihama books, Kamihama books. What are those titles? Are they significant in any way, shape, or form? Let me know. Making 2 bentos, probably used to making one for herself and one for her sister. Mom is moving away. Her parents are moving away. And Iroha is moving into a boarding house. I love this aesthetic. I think the reason why I love this aesthetic is because it's like the perfect marriage of 2 of my favorite aesthetics. I love the like hyper futuristic aesthetic of, you know, touch screens in the air and holographic displays on my mug, on my cup, because why not? Might as well at this point. And white walls and like ceramic tiles and, you know, that like super clean aesthetic of glass and white ceramic, essentially. But on the other hand, I also love this like rustic, very rustic, whatchamacallit, not imagery. Fuck, I used that word not long ago. And I forgot it. Fuck. Aesthetic. Very rustic aesthetic of wooden floors and stone walls and dried herbs hanging from the ceiling and plants on the windowsill and cast iron pans hanging on the wall and, you know, that kind of stuff. And this is like connecting those two because we have the modern look of glass, steel, and white ceramic, and at the same time we have a lot of wood, we have a lot of plants, we have a lot of greenery. I love it. I absolutely adore it. I wish all cities in the whole wide world looked like this. High rises, completely overgrown with greenery. I love it. There's a shopping mall in the city. A brand, well, not brand new anymore, but the newest shopping mall in the city. And the entire roof area, pretty much the entire roof area, is like a park, like a garden. There is concrete tiles, concrete not railings, what's it called? Like a raised grow bed for plants, for grasses, for trees and stuff like that, made of concrete. And it's also sculpted in a way where you can sit down in it. It doubles as a bench, and it's all like industrial and modern, but at the same time there's tons of greenery. I love it. I love it. If you could see my windowsill, it's just plants and plants and plants and a white window with glass overlooking a high-rise city. I wish I could have even more plants in my room, and I will eventually. Where did my monkey mask go? There was a monkey mask there. I guess my mom took it for like cleaning or something. I don't fucking know. I'm gonna have to look around the flat. Regardless, that was like a huge aside. Let's continue. Having an international business trip is a great opportunity. This is interesting. It really looks like a coliseum. And I guess the only way to actually be able to learn in a classroom like that is either a hologram being displayed in the middle or everybody seeing learning materials on their devices, laptops or whatever they are. Those are 2-in-1s. Those are tablets. Yeah, those are like Surface Go's or something. Interesting. That's another thing I really, really enjoy in seeing an anime and manga and wherever. Seeing actually like modern technology. I squealed internally when I've seen a character in Zom 100 use Galaxy Fold, and they are using like modern, nice-looking PCs. One series I always come back to as an antithesis of that is Tokyo 24Ku, where it was like a modern, super modern world with sci-fi technologies and whatnot, but phones were like blocky and thick and rugged and like oddly shaped, and one guy had a laptop and it was like this thick, like a fucking briefcase. That's not sci-fi, that's not modern. What the fuck are you doing there, artist? Look around you, nobody, even now, in the year 2023, nobody uses blocky shit like that. Everything is slim and sleek. Every phone is a fucking black rectangle. What are the chances, what are the odds that in the year 2030 we will go back to carrying bricks like that in a pouch, on a belt, like they used to do that in early 2000s? I know, I carried my phone in a leather pouch on my belt. So yeah, this is great. This is interesting. On two accounts. One account that she forgot her wish, which again we are led to believe that her wish was cure Ui. Right? That was her wish. Please cure Ui. She never said anything about forgetting her wish. She never said anything about anybody disappearing. I wonder if there's like two parallel timelines. She hopped timelines like Homura, something along those lines. Iroha is timeline hopping. I wonder. Maybe part of it was for the wish itself to be concealed. Possible, for sure. This is another extremely interesting bit, that they are in the witch world, supposedly, and there are witches, like, fucking kidnapping children. Those children are probably just a figment of this world, but nothing is like antagonistic. There is no witch attacking them. There are no thralls attacking them. Iroha herself is not attacking. Very reminiscent of post-Homura world, where there were also witch world creatures coexisting with humans in the world. We saw that like witchy-looking bird sitting on a tree, for example. Also reminiscent of Homura's dream world, of Homura's witch world, where there were also witches coexisting with humans. That leads me to believe this might be taking place in an alternate reality, an alternate timeline, not in the main show's reality, but somehow different. I don't want to risk my life for a wish I can't even remember. That's a very good point, actually. Do you know what this mysterious misty white thing is? She speaks really fast. And there was one thing I wanted to check. The teacher. Is she animated on once? Yep. Partially on once. Partially on once, that's why her movement is so, like, unsettlingly smooth. Very smooth movement, very fast movement, very rapid, even, and very fast pace of talking. Interesting how many characters in this show seem to speak really, really fucking fast. Greet each other loud and clear, righteous hordes. This really looks like a coliseum. And the movement of her baton, that's also animated on once, at least partially, to introduce that, like, snap to it, that rapidness to its movements. Don't be shy about asking for help. And yeah, she's not part of any clubs. She doesn't hang out with friends. But something's keeping her busy, and those are her magical girl duties. There's that theme of space reoccurring. The lesson about the Milky Way, constellations on this train station. Curious why. Curious what the significance of it is going to be. Not getting more Greek seeds is a problem, sure. It would be. Magical girls can be saved if they go to Kamihama City. I hope if I Google Kamihama City... actually... I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna go to Madoka Magica wiki. And I'm gonna Google Madoka and check what was the city she lived in. Madoka Kaname. Personal information. Mitakihara. Mitakihara, not Kamihama. Not Kamihama. I thought this is the city that Madoka lived in, but no, she lived in Mitakihara. Different city then. Does that mean there are no witches in Kamihama City? The opposite, but somehow that might save the witches. We don't know how, we don't know why, but supposedly it is the case. Many girls had the same dream. Another comparison I need to make. I need to Google Bebe. Bebe in her human form. Nagisa Momoe, right? No. It's not her silhouette. It is not her silhouette. Or maybe in some different image, maybe when she's not wearing her hat. No, even when she's not wearing her hat, it's not her silhouette. Okay, someone else then. Someone else. I had it last night. What did you wish for? Yeah, to get together with someone. I want to go out with the person I like, but then they broke up. In other words, a wasted wish. Essentially. Yeah, if I'd known it would be like this, I never would have become a magical girl. Right? If she knew that they're going to be together for like a year or two and then they're gonna separate, then what was the point of the wish? And now she's tied for eternity to being a magical girl. Those look like bowls of spaghetti. Yeah, and I guess it's reminiscent of this weird witch world, but not really. That's also made of scaffolding and spaghetti. A little more detailed henshin, but still very much Madoka style, very much Sailor Moon style, with just a flash of light. Those look like they have shards of glass in them. And yeah, spaghetti and scaffolding. Apparently it's a labyrinth. It's called a labyrinth. And if it disappears, you fall. So does it like exist in the real world? It carries you up into the air, and if it disappears, you just fall and break your fucking bones on the pavement? Do they not completely transfer into the witch world? Interesting. So many things seem to work so differently than they do in the main show. And this is an amazing train station, and I'm actually gonna have to screenshot it. And whenever I have the time and the will to do that, I will try to mod it into city skylines because I fucking love how it looks. Lots of flowers, lots of plants. I love it. I love it. Kuroe has been defeated. Not fully, but beaten up pretty badly. And now we enter Witch World proper. Up until this moment, I was really afraid that we're just not gonna have it. That they're just going to tone it down. It's not going to be like this heavy in mixed media. It's just going to be spaghetti and CG scaffolding, and that's it. But it seems like they weren't in like Witch World proper before. Now they are entering the realm of a witch. Or perhaps this witch is simply so much more powerful than the ones they've been fighting before. Here's the Black Lizard. And here's the actual witch. The Sand Witch Zenobia. That just destroys this witch without a problem, and spaghetti spills out. And not that easy to defeat this one, unfortunately. Not working at all indeed. I thought for a moment that this witch might actually be benevolent. That she saved them from that lizard thing. And that it's her singing right now. Notice how she's not immediately attacking. That's interesting. I actually want to note it down. I don't think it's gonna be the case, but just in case it is. Witches are good. Parenthesis, at least some of them. We'll see. And tiny Kyuubey, a juvenile, something we've never seen before. Secret rumor, who should I tell it to? It seems like he's singing about the rumor of Kamihama City. Could it be that this Kyuubey is spreading it for some reason? Is it some plan of Kyuubey's to gather as many magical girls in Kamihama City as possible to get a huge chunk of energy all at once, all at the same time? Maybe. Base want to gather Gukas at Kamihama for some reason. Juvenile spreads the rumor. And suddenly, it touches her, and she immediately just remembers her wish. A sickly sister, bedridden. Yeah. One detail I really have to mention. There we go. A little bit earlier. The body stocking. It doesn't actually like completely adhere to her body. It has some wrinkles in it. That's cool. I like it. Usually when a character has like a latex suit or a body stocking or something like that, it's like skin tight. It's essentially their skin just painted a different color. In this case, you see that it's actually a piece that she wears. It's actually a piece of cloth of some description. That's cool. And here comes the savior. Not wearing the cloak, I don't think. Nope, not wearing the cloak. Wielding a lot of spears. Kind of a love child of Kyoko and Mami? The yellow one. Mami, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry if I get their names mixed up. A lot of weapons, and the weapon is a spear. That's cool. And she doesn't even bother like fighting with that spear, just launches them in sequence. That's cool. I like it. Imaginative ways of fighting using imaginative weapons. That's my weakness. In anime and everywhere, actually, I really like non-standard weapons. How many times can you have someone just fight with a fucking sword, right? Boss defeated, stage completed. And Kyuubey isn't here, which is interesting because Kyuubeys are creatures that transcend those worlds. They can exist in the human world and in the witch world at the same time. This one either consciously ran away, or it's a special Kyuubey who exists only in the witch world. This is Kamihama West. You're hunting on grounds that are not yours. And she seems like she's going to like a Catholic school from this like dress that she's wearing. Flowers of the world. I heard that rumor before. Salvation is the exact opposite because there is a lot of witches. They get a grief seed each. And fuck off. Tiny Kyuubey. Apparently there isn't a Kyuubey in Kamihama City. I wonder why. I wonder if that juvenile was perhaps got trapped in the witch world or something along those lines. I'm not sure. Also interesting to mention that there are other ways to deal with grief seeds. From what we've seen, a spent grief seed is ingested by a Kyuubey. And I can't imagine any other uses for them. Unless they figured out a way to spawn witches out of used grief seeds. I'm not sure, honestly. The rumor came in a dream. And yeah, don't stay around Kamihama. I wonder if she wants to monopolize Kamihama for some reason. Magical girl can't survive in Kamihama unless you're as strong as her. Basically, yeah. I'll take the night train that no one knows about and go to Kamihama City. This is Iroha's sister, who's also going to Kamihama City, despite not being a magical girl. Could it be? Iroha wishes for Ui to get well. Ui learns of what Iroha has to subject herself to now, what was the price of that wish, and decides that she doesn't want her sister to suffer that, and she herself decides to become a magical girl, and her wish is, I wish I was never born, or something to that effect. She disappears, her existence is wiped from the world, but that doesn't undo the fact that Iroha is still a magical girl. Just removes the memory of becoming one. You cannot wish away being a Mahou Shoujo, but you can wish away the memories of becoming one. I think I might be onto something. I might be onto something. Iroha wished for Ui to get well. Ui learns of what was the price, wishes she never existed, which wipes out her Iroha's memories, but not Iroha's Megukaness. This is probably the most solid theory I had so far. So perhaps that's the case. Go out with him, win the lottery, yeah, all sorts of different wishes. I want to survive, I want a studio where no one can disturb me, I want to know why everyone hates Doritos, what? And yeah, the wish is Cure Ui. Nothing more, nothing less. We have some imagery. A map. An empty hospital room. A witch. Weird characters. And yeah, there clearly was another person in those photos, but is no more. And that person was Ui, who was somehow wiped out from reality. Yeah, the duality again. Then we have the blue spear wielder, the yellow fan wielder, the purple hammer wielder, the green shielder, the pink archer, and there were also a couple more, I think. Like by the end here, I think like even more magical girls flashed by. Like literally just a couple frames each. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe No, I'm pretty sure they did, but maybe it was earlier. It doesn't matter. I don't want to go back any more than that. Okay. That does it. So now we need to do one more thing. Of course, that we always do. And that is, we need to check out the staff. As always, again. $13 times 24 minutes. Studio shaft. Okay, so the studio did not change. Source video game. Is this show made based on the gacha? I thought it would be the other way around, but perhaps not. Staff original creator Magica Quartet. Chief director Gekidan Inukuri. And series composition as well. I guess Vivaldi doesn't want me to switch tabs like that, so we're gonna have that toolbar up top. Gekidan Inukuri also responsible for other Madoka projects, some Fate, some Monogatari design and performances. Creature design in Yusha Shokugun Shokugun manga. Interesting. Who do we have next? Character design, Junichiro Taniguchi, who also designed characters for Madoka Magica. Animation training director and key animation for some episodes of Oshinoko, Ruby, Magia Record, Kimi no Na wa, Prison School, character design, interesting. Key animation on Girls on Panza movie, chief animation on Gothic, character design on Madoka Magica the movie, Madoka Magica Rebellion, and Madoka Magica proper as well, probably. Is it listed? No, maybe not actually on Madoka Magica proper. Dokuro-chan, that's an interesting piece of portfolio. Hagane no Renkinjutsushi, brother, alchemist, brother. What's the English title? I always forget. Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist. Action director Takashi Hashimoto. Also action director for Nanatsu no Makengashi Haisuru, Vinland Saga special effects, Dungeon Nidenai, action animator and effects animator, Review Starlight movie, key animation and main animation, Fate, Gintama, Jujutsu Kaisen, Magia Record, Made in Abyss, Yojo Senki key animation, the movie at least, Kekai Sensen effects and animation director for a single episode, and Kimi no Na wa, Girls on Panza movie, Kekai Sensen the first season, Sekai Seifukubori Aku no Zvezda, key animation on episode 1, plenty of roles as key animation and animation in general. Goes fair ways back, all the way to Urusei Yatsura. Main animator Kanamiya Akihisa Takano and Yoshiaki Ito. Kanamiya also animated Vampire in the Garden, Tonemo Skill the Isekai, sub-character design, Magia Record, Railgun, Vinland Saga key animation, Gotobun no Hanayome key animation, Domestic no Kanojo, Boku no Hero Academia, Nisekoi, Kiseiju, some Monogatari series, Persona, Idolmaster, key animation. Next we have Akihisa Takano, who also animated Zom 100 episode 3, Ruby, some Monogatari series, Trigatsu no Lion, Gotobun no Hanayome again, Nisekoi again, Monogatari, and Yoshiaki Ito, who also animated Mashle Zom 100 episode 3 again, Ruby, Magia Record, of course, we know that, Gotobun no Hanayome, some Monogatari series, some more Madoka, Hidamari sketch, Zetsubo Sensei, Rek, that's an interesting show, for sure, and some other shows, older shows as well. Who else do I want to check out? Art director Ken Naito and Morihito Ohara, art design Ken Naito. Also art director on Gotobun no Hanayome, Ruby, Magia Record, Slime, Isekai, Slimito, Monogatari, again, Shaft being Shaft, of course, Nisekoi, Queen's Blade, Amagi's SF, and Morihito Ohara. Art design on Ryzen Atelier. Art design on Princess Principal, Crown Handler Movie 2. On Magia Record, Princess Principal, Crown Handler Movie 1, Movie 3 as well. Monogatari, Niskoi, Shaft shows in general, it would seem, and some other series. Even background art on Dragon Ball and background art on the movie of Sailor Moon. Who else would I want to check out? Music, why not? Takumi Ozawa. Producers, directors. Let's check the music first. Madoka Magica. Hitsugi no Chaika. Interesting. Directors. Directors changed. Interestingly. Yukihiro Miyamoto, Midori Yoshizawa, and Kenjiro Okada were all directors at some point or another. Yukihiro Miyamoto also directed Gotobu no Hanayome, some episodes of Ruby. Monogatari, Niskoi, again, Shaft shows. Madoka Magica, the original, chief director. Maria Holik, Setsubo Sensei. Midori Yoshizawa. Again, I see Shaft shows. Monogatari, Gotobu no Hanayome. Trigetsu no Lion, Fate. And Kenjiro Okada. Also director on Ruby, some episodes. Monogataris, Shinsekai Yori. And Magia Record, of course. Mostly Shaft shows, like mostly Shaft people. Not many people were brought from like completely different, completely separate, studios. It was mostly like internally made. Script, that's important. Kaede Ogawa, Ryoma Ikebukuro. Kaede Ogawa just scripted Magia Record, and so did Ryoma Ikebukuro, and wrote the story for a Log Horizon manga spin-off, I assume. Yeah, a light novel spin-off of Log Horizon. Interesting that they would get people with like no portfolio whatsoever to write the script. Right? Like, all those people so far had a full portfolio of other shows, be it for Shaft or otherwise. Those two, Kaede Ogawa and Ryoma Ikebukuro, have pretty much nothing behind their belt. And doesn't seem like they made anything since either. Storyboarding, animation director, assistants, key animation, key animation for individual episodes mostly, it would seem. Is episode 1 listed anywhere? That's a lot of key animators. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be checking out all of them. I think that will do it for the staff. If there is someone particularly important, particularly interesting among the staff, do let me know down in the comments. I'll take a look. And now, let's take a look at the seiyuu. That is an assload of characters. Jesus fucking Christ. That's a lot of characters. Let's maybe stick to just mains. And I already got fucking spoiled that characters from the main show will be appearing. Fuck. Shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that. Regardless, Iroha Tamaki, voiced by Momo Asakura. And where is Kuroe? Kuroe, voiced by Kana Hanazawa. Momo Asakura also voiced some people in Idolmaster, the plane stewardess in Zom 100, someone in Buddy Daddies, Medic from Arknights, Nagisa from Kaguya-sama. Who else? Manako from Monmusu, Rin from Witchcraft Worlds, and not many more roles than that. And Kana Hanazawa voiced Mitsuri Kanoroji from Kimetsu no Yaiba. And who else? Ichika from Gotobu no Hanayome. Dark Gathering role as well, I see. Anybody else I would recognize? Ost from Tate no Yusha. Druch from Jahisama. Mayumi from Mahka Koko no Rettosei. Red Blood Cell from Hataraku Saibo. That's a lot of roles. Aoi from Precon. Vanabelle. Oh, I thought it's JoJo's, but no, it's some other show. JoJo, similar art style. That's what threw me off. Xiaolu from Liu Xiaowei Zhanji movie. And I assume also the Arknights operator. Popko Bot, who hasn't voiced Popko. Again, I have to say it again. Ichika from Gotobu no Hanayome. That's a lot of roles. That's a huge contrast. Ruri from Eromanga Sensei. That's a huge contrast from the previous Seiyu that we took a look at. This is like a humongous portfolio. Hana, my beloved, from Prison School. And it just doesn't end. It just continues. And continues and continues and continues. Kobato from Boku wa Tomodachi. Who else? Fumika from Seikon no Quasar, the second season, and the first season as well. Ice from Ladies vs. Butlers. Kusano from Sekirei. And those are staff roles. Holy shit, that's a lot of roles. That's a lot of roles, and she's a supporting character. She's not the main character. Interesting that the main character would get a less experienced Seiyu. Unless perhaps she, Momo Asakura, has experience in other media. Maybe she's a singer or something, I'm not sure. Yachiyo Nanami, voiced by Sora Amamiya. Who also voiced Elizabeth in Nanatsu no Taizai. Saori from Zom 100, that's a very short role. Nazuna from Yofukashi no Uta. Why is she listed twice? Oh, because Yofukashi no Uta Mini. Right. Miyako from Precon. Who else do we have here? Rurinam from Pokemon. Akemi Soryuin from Dumbbell. Crush Lulu from Overlord, the third season and the second season. Who else? Plenty of other roles. Yamato Koki from Ninja Slayer. Akame from Akame ga Kill. And that's it. Anybody else? No, I don't want to check the others. Madoka Kaname doesn't have a... I guess she's not gonna say anything. Is that another spoiler? I swear to God. And there are other like secondary, tertiary characters who will be appearing. Kyuubey, voiced by Emiri Kato. Emiri Kato, who also voiced Aura Bella Fiora in Isekai Quartet, Becky Blackbell from Spy Family, Mayoi from Bakemonogatari, Riko Saikawa from Kobayashi-san, Star 15 from Dolls Frontline. That's an interesting range from Riko to Star. Akatsuki from Log Horizon. That's a lot of roles that I actually genuinely recognize. Popko, who hasn't voiced Popko. Riko. Again. And Hideyoshi from Baka Test. That's a lot of Hideyoshi roles. Powerpuff Girls as well, interestingly enough. And I'm not going to be checking any more of those, I don't think. Because we've never really seen them yet, so there isn't really any point to that, I don't think. Okay. Okay. And the sun went out, and suddenly my face is like overlit. And come on. There we go. Much better. Automatic exposure. So, that was Magia Record, episode 1. And I think it actually is. I think I can genuinely call it, at least so far, Madoka Magica Light. So far. Again, so far. It might go into all sorts of wild directions. But so far, the pacing certainly seems much more mainstream. Madoka was a fairly slow burn. In the first episode, not really much magical happened, honestly, and everything was being introduced very slowly, very gradually, right? That, oh, we started with, okay, it might be like fun magical girls like usual. Then it started getting, oh no, there's some death, and we slowly like took a nosedive into the pits of despair. Keyword being slowly. And it worked even for a show that was just 12 episodes. That still seems bonkers mad to me, that Madoka Magica was just 12 episodes and managed to tell such a story. This has 2 cores, essentially. Well, first season is 13 episodes, then there are 2 more seasons. And it's going at a much, much faster pace. Not to the point where this pace would be like too fast, but to the point where this where the pace is much more casual, so to speak. Right? We don't want the viewer to get bored. We want to show the viewer right from the get-go that there's going to be some action, there's going to be some mystery, there's going to be some dark stuff, and oh ho ho, what could have happened to her sister? What's going on with that? Right? We want to introduce everything in the first episode to hook the viewer. I guess they can do that because people know what the deal is with Madoka Magica and they already expect it. There's no point hiding that darkness, hiding that mystery, because we've come to expect it from Madoka Magica. But at the same time, I really think it would be a little better if they chilled out a little bit, right? Like, show us Iroha and maybe Kuroe just casually fighting some witches. You know, no big deal, nothing major. They're just fighting some witches, saving some people, saving some cats. And there is like that one scene, that one single scene of Iroha remembering that shadow in her room and her room being fully furnished. No more than that. No more than that. Right? It leads us into the false sense of security, kinda. Because again, we know what to expect from Madoka Magica, so we know that something fucky-wacky is going to happen, but we are kept at the edge of our seat. And then the scene with the shadow happens. And we know that, oh yeah, that's Madoka. There's gonna be some fucky-wacky things going on for sure. And then episode 2, perhaps, Kuroe has the dream about someone telling her to go to Kamihama City, and they can be saved. Right? You slowly introduce that, and then by episode 3 or by episode 5, even better, you only then do you go to Kamihama City. And this is much faster pace, and again, not fast to the point of being bad, but certainly fast to the point of not feeling paced like Madoka. Fast to the point of being paced as your everyday normal regular seasonal show that has an interesting premise, has interesting visuals, but isn't like genre defining the way the original series was. And I guess that validates my belief that a lot of people's issues with this series stem from the fact that it's simply not Madoka. That it's a seasonal show, it's serviceable, it's good at times, it's perhaps bad at times, but overall, if it was released without Madoka, without the movie, without the rest of the franchise, it would be treated well. People would like it. Would it be getting straight tens? Probably not. Would it be genre defining? Probably not. But it would be a fun watch that people remember fondly. Anything else? Anything else? You can certainly feel, on one hand, that's actually interesting. I wanted to say that you feel the drop in like brain fuckery, but at the same time there is an increase in brain fuckery, because on one hand there's a drop because nothing that we've seen is like goes beyond what Madoka and especially the movie has shown us. This is pretty like low level stuff compared to what we are used to. But at the same time, it introduces that brain fuckery, mind fuckery much earlier. Madoka Magica started as a very normal magical girls show. This starts from the very beginning with memory manipulation, with weird trains, with weird cities, and all sorts of things like that. Again, it probably stems from the fact that the creators of this show realized that there's no point hiding it, because there's Magia Record, Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica. Madoka Magica is in the fucking title, so we know what to expect. No point hiding it. One thing I'm gonna be wary of is the size of the cast. Madoka Magica worked really well because the cast was limited. We only had a few girls, and they constantly were being removed from the cast in one way or another. And with such a small cast, you had the time to grow attached to them. They had the chance to distinguish themselves, right? In this case, we have, like, how many magical girls? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not gonna count the OGs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 20 motherfucking 5. 20 motherfucking 5. Now, sure, some of them are listed as background characters, so let's just count the supporting ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 supporting, 5 main. That's much more than in the original show. And I have a feeling it will be to the detriment of it. On one hand, it's gonna be cool seeing more magical girls, absolutely. The main show always felt fairly confined and lonely. The cast was very limited, and we hear that sure, there are magical girls all over the world and whatnot, but we never really get any, like, proof to that claim. No, like, big battle with hundreds of magical girls fighting Walpurgisnacht or anything like that. So I guess this might be to that benefit of the show. But on the other hand, I feel like plenty of those characters will just be missing characterization. I fear that might be the case. We'll see. Again, this was only episode 1. It's really hard to form opinions from just a single episode. We'll see how it's handled. How it's handled later on. Now, to not be all negative, this show is certainly doing some interesting things. The missing wish, the forgotten wish, the wish that seemingly did something opposite to what it was supposed to do. The juvenile Kyuubey running around, right? There's plenty of things that are different from the main show. This is how you do a spin-off. You can do a spin-off that's just the exact same world but different characters and a different story. It's sure perfectly serviceable, but I always like it when a spin-off introduces some different things, right? Oh, you thought you knew how this world works from the main show? Haha! Actually, something else can happen, right? Juvenile Kyuubeys are apparently a thing, we've learned. Forgetting a wish can be a thing, we've learned. They can dispose of grief seeds in different ways than just through a Kyuubey. Another interesting detail. A city with magical girls can function without a Kyuubey watching over it. That's another interesting detail, right? So this really builds upon the Madoka Magica world, and I can appreciate that. It's not just, as I said, the same world but different people. It actually adds on top of what Madoka Magica already established. It's not just a skippable show that you can just, completely disregard, because it does actually introduce some new, more or less important, we'll see about that, details. That's cool, and I'm gonna be waiting for more for sure. I mean, it's only been the first episode and I already have almost half the page taken by theories. That's how you know a show is interesting, at least. But yeah, I think that's it I think that's it. I don't think I have anything more to say. But maybe you guys do. And if you do, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that. No spoilers, please, I beg of you. If you do want to talk spoilers, Discord is here also linked in the description below, where you can talk spoilers to your heart's content. Second episode will already be up on Patreon if you're watching it on YouTube, so head over there if you want. Like this video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Magia Record, but also Zom 100, Atelier Ryza, Undead Girl Murder, Farts, Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru, and Helk, and others coming at ya in the future. I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell icon to be notified of when I go live. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And if you... Patreon, $10 a month, early access to non-seasonal shows like Madoka Magica and others, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and placed in the credits. Did I already say that? If I did, sorry, but I just said it again. Well, my memory fails me sometimes. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my wonderful Patreons: Kyuubey, Without a Net, Fruit, Young Gaiju, Dr. Escurium, MZ, Rainer, Akamancer, Marsh, Fassel, Dr. Wotukala, and Hans Peter, and you can join them without the need to travel to Kamihama City.